So we got to start out Batman month to start a Batman video out with this. R.I.P. to the late Val Kilmer, passed away yesterday. Was a big star in the 80s and 90s. Starred in such movies like Top Gun. Starred in Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. I believe he starred in the Boondock Saints, the original one. Starred in The Island of Dr. Moreau. Starred in Tombstone with Kurt Russell. And of course, starred in Batman Forever as one of the most popular Batman actors out there. So, R.I.P. to Val Kilmer. And now he's off to that big bat cave in the sky. Let me switch this around now. Yeah, see my TV, my heat. Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby 83. This is the Mr. Hornsby 83 show, and today, sadly, we start Batman month with the loss of a popular Batman actor. So, it sucks when that happens, but today we are going to talk about the McFarlane Toys reveals at WonderCon. More in particularly, the new Batman movie wave that McFarlane revealed last week. Also, we're going to talk about all the Legends deals that WWE and Mattel have signed lately for certain Legends to come back in the Mattel line. And I'm going to predict a few of those Legends that are going to get figures that we'll more than likely see maybe at WrestleMania, but more than likely we're going to see at San Diego Comic-Con this coming summer. So, anyway. But before I get into that, because sadly we have to start with the Val Kilmer passing, but also I got to get something off my chest that has been irritating me the past couple weeks, especially watching ESPN First Take and realizing how arrogant these pricks are. But these freaking younger generations of NBA players right now are really pissing me off with the disrespect that they're showing to the legends of basketball. I mean, first off, let's talk about the biggest name guy, LeBron James. That prick. And you know what? I'm going to give you a few shout outs to all these guys I talk about here in a minute. That prick goes on Pat McAfee's show, talks about Jokic or whatever his name is, and talks about how he would have scored a bunch of points if he was playing back in the old days and all that. I'm like, what? This guy's an idiot. That makes me dislike LeBron even more. But then, today I'm sitting here watching ESPN First Take, and I hear of a moron named Draymond Green on his damn podcast talking about how these current players don't have to show respect to the legends because the legends disrespect them and all that stuff. It didn't give a reason why he said that either. But he's sitting there talking that smack, and that just irritated me. One person says it, you can overlook it. Most people start saying it, it gets annoying. And yeah, so far I only know of two people that said something, and that's frickin' LeBron and Draymond Green. Draymond Green, you wouldn't even be nowhere if it wasn't for Steph Curry, first of all. Second of all, you retired early because you were terrible toward the end of your run as an NBA player. You might have been good early in your run, but you were terrible toward the end of your run. And players that played back in the day may not have been as good as they was back in their prime, but in their later years, they still played a little bit better than Draymond Green. Like, who the hell is this guy anyway to say anything? This guy read Steph Curry's coattails to NBA championships. Yeah. And then let's talk about LeBron James. First of all, LeBron James has nerve to frickin' sit there and bash the old generation of NBA players because that stupid son of a bitch, he never was able to draw somebody to his team, a big superstar, because nobody wanted to be in the Cleveland Cavaliers or anything or play with LeBron James because they would have got overshadowed by LeBron James. Anthony Davis played with LeBron James. He still got overshadowed by LeBron James. Let's see. What's his freaking name? Shoot. Dude that was on the Heat. What was his name? Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. You went to their team. You went to the Miami Heat to win a championship because you couldn't draw nobody to Cleveland. And Dwayne Wade was a superstar, and I'd say was probably better than LeBron at that time. But he got overshadowed by LeBron James. Then, when you come to the Lakers, we get Anthony Davis, and he gets overshadowed by LeBron James. And eventually it's going to happen with Jokic or whatever. But, so I'm going to say, fuck you to LeBron James, you disrespectful piece of shit. Fuck you to Draymond Green, you disrespectful piece of shit. And I'm going to say fuck you to a guy I like, Pat McAfee, because he was a former Colt punter, for letting LeBron come on his show and talk to smack and not checking him on him. So fuck those guys. Anybody in the older generation would frickin' stomp you. You think you would stand a chance against Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? I don't think so. You think you would stand a chance against Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and all them? I don't think so. You think you would stand a chance against Larry Bird and all them? I don't think so. NBA's softer now than what it was back in the day. And I was a kid that grew up in the Jordan era. And I, like a lot of my friends, we all want to grow up to be like Michael Jordan. How many kids are out there saying, I want to grow up to be like Draymond Green? Or how many kids who probably do look up to LeBron and say, I want to grow up to be just like LeBron. A choke artist, a Shaq Jr., and I have to go to another superstar's team for me to win a championship because I can't get no superstars on my team because I'm an overrated piece of crap. So fuck you to those guys. Those guys could drop dead for... Well, no, let me rephrase. Those guys could go kick rocks for all I give a damn. Them guys suck and they're both overrated, especially LeBron James. Disrespecting the freaking younger generation or the older generation of NBA. Screw that, because I was an NBA fan way before I became an NFL fan. I grew up as an NBA fan. My early adulthood, I was an NBA fan. I didn't become an NFL fan till around probably 2004. But before that, I was a big NBA fan. So fuck those guys for what they said. They are a disrespectful piece of shit. And you know what? LeBron James, just retire and get lost because nobody wants to see you anymore. You're washed up anyway. You were overrated while you played. You could never reach the levels of Jordan or Kobe or Shaq or freaking Magic Johnson or Kareem Abdul or any of those great players in the past. So shut your freaking mouth. Worry about winning championships, which you're probably not even going to win the championship this year. You're going to be eliminated early in the freaking playoffs. And Draymond Green, shut down your podcast and keep your damn mouth shut. Frickin' idiots. You don't disrespect the old generation of the NBA. Because if it wasn't for the old generation of the NBA, you guys wouldn't be in the NBA right now. But I'm pretty sure all the frickin' Jordan comparisons that frickin' LeBron's gotten, he was happy about. And he probably got a big ass head thinking he really was as good as Jordan when he's really not. So LeBron James, Draymond Green, shut up and keep your mouth shut because you're both overrated pieces of trash. So yeah, fuck you, shout outs to them. That's what I feel about that, and I had to get that off my freaking chest because I seen that this morning. I'm like, you sons of bitches. First LeBron and now this idiot. If it weren't for freaking if it wasn't for freaking Steph Curry, you wouldn't even be a superstar there, freaking Draymond, so shut your mouth anyway. Boy, frickin' idiots. Anyway, now that I've ranted about that, let's get into the McFarlane Toys reveals that I didn't think it'd take me that long to rant. Let's get into the McFarlane reveals he revealed this past weekend. Now, he revealed some more new DC Multiverse stuff. We all know he's losing the license. The middle of next year? So, but the only thing I want to talk about, I care less about all the other crap they revealed, was the new Batman Returns wave. Now, they were called Deluxe Theater Classics or whatever they were called. But they look like they're in the normal scale, like the scale of these figures. So, that's fine and dandy with me, because I said, once that Batman and Robin wave came out, I said, next, I want a Batman Forever wave. We got the Batman Forever wave. Then I said, I want Batman Returns, which is, my second favorite Batman movie is Returns. It was Forever when I was younger, but, as I got older, it became Returns. I still like Batman Forever, but, because I also had the toys for Batman Forever too, so, yeah. But, Batman Returns figures are coming out, and not only are we getting Batman, we are getting Catwoman, we are getting Penguin, and we are getting Max Shreck. And I was like, yes, if the wave is Batman, Penguin, Max Shreck, and Catwoman, I will be happy. And the Build-A-Figure is the Penguin army that the Penguin had at the end that was going to attack the Gotham Square. So, I was very happy to see that we are going to get that Batman Forever wave. Now all we need is the Batman 89 wave. And you know what? I'm going to be hunting everywhere for... You thought I went hard hunting for the freaking Batman Forever figures last year. Wait till it gets into summer. I'm going to be hunting really hard for those Batman Returns figures. But now we need is a Batman 89 wave. And I think that by the end of this year or early next year before he loses the license, we will see that Batman 89 wave. Who are they going to make? They could make Joker, Vicky Vale, Alfred, and Batman. Or they could make Batman, Joker, Carl Grissom, Vicky Vale, or Alfred. Either way. Or Commissioner Gordon. I don't think they've made a Commissioner Gordon from the movies yet. Have they? I don't know. Or we can get Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent. But yeah, so I'm very excited for that Batman Returns wave. I'm very excited. I was excited for the Batman Forever wave when that came out last year. And when I finally got my hands on him, I was very excited. Because I still like Batman Forever. Not as much as I did as a kid, but I still like it as an adult. Especially after I watched V and Fuso. When I watched the show where he's talking about the villains of Batman Forever. Because I hated Riddler and Two-Face. That's what really started turning me off about the movie. Because they were both trying to be Joker 2.0. But he broke down a video talking about they were told by Joe Schumacher to act in the movie the way the Riddler and if Two-Face would have been in the old show, how they probably would have acted in the 66 show. So I'm like, alright, I understand now why they did what they did. But, you know what? Batman Returns is coming. All we need left is Batman 89. And once we get Batman 89 revealed, then I could be happy. Because, yeah, the Dark Knight movies, I like them. But I grew up on the first 4 Batman movies. I also saw the 66 Batman movie. So I like that movie as well. But I grew up on the 89 to 97 movies. So I'm very excited that we're getting Batman Returns, and hopefully next up, and I got freaking skin hanging off my nose. I'm hoping we get that wave early next year, like it gets announced at Comic-Con this year, and then we get the wave early next year, so that way, when McFarlane loses the license, we'll be fine because we got our Batman Returns wave. But yeah, like I said, the Dark Knight trilogy, it's all fine and dandy. I like that trilogy too, but I like the Burton / Schumacher verse of Batman movies more because I grew up on those movies. I had the toys for those movies. I freaking went and seen all the movies. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So I'm happy, can't wait. I'm going to grab all of them. Shrek, Catwoman, Penguin, and Batman. And I cannot wait until we finally get the Batman 89 wave. So that way McFarlane can have all the Batman movie figures out before Mattel gets the license back, which kind of irritated me because, you know, usually with these waves, McFarlane has released these movie figures like one set per year, like the Dark Knight way he sent. I'd also like to see them make a Bane for Batman and Robin. We haven't got that yet, so I'd like to see that come out. Especially if anybody gets the Bane from the Dark Knight movies. You can do a lot of comedy skits with that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm really excited. Can't wait for the Batman Returns line to hit. Hopefully it doesn't take forever like the Batman Forever wave did. Like, it took forever for the Batman Forever wave to hit the shelves. It was almost fall time by the time the freaking figures hit shelves. Like, what was it, August when they came out? Or like late August, September, sometime in that time. And it said summer 2024 when they came out, and then they just freaking didn't come out until close to fall 2024. But, yeah, very happy that those are coming out. Can't wait. I'm also excited to, you know, finally find that Mr. Freeze that glows in the dark. I think that's only going to be like comic shops and that, though, but, yeah. Is what it is now. I don't care if we get Wave 2 of Batman and Robin. I don't care if we get Wave 2 of the other movie figures they released. I would like to have a freaking Batman from Batman Forever with the freaking yellow bat logo, because that's how it started. This is the prototype suit that Bruce had to wear in Forever after Riddler blew up all his other suits. So yeah, even though this suit, I like that suit. It's a nice suit. We need to get the freaking yellow logo one. But we probably won't from McFarlane because of the fact that Mattel, with their greed, had to get it back. You know, anyway. So we'll see. Maybe Mattel will do better with the freaking Batman and DC figures than they did last time. They had the license. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Alright. So, yeah, I know this is Batman month. You know, I'm talking about wrestling figures as well in this video. But let's talk about the Legends deals that WWE and Mattel have signed these past couple years. Alright, these past couple months. I mean, first off, we saw last year they signed Shamrock back under a deal. They signed Tara, which I don't think they've revealed a Tara figure yet. I don't think they have. Maybe they're waiting for WrestleMania. Maybe they're waiting for Comic-Con, whatever. They also revealed some other signings they had, but they really ain't made no figures of them yet. Like, I know it was Shamrock. I know they signed frickin' Tara. I think Jacqueline. We haven't seen a Jacqueline figure yet. And I want to see classic Jacqueline. I don't want to see modern day Jacqueline. I want to see classic Jacqueline. And a couple other stars they've signed. But then this year they've re-signed the deals with Demolition, which I'm hoping we see Demolition figures at the WrestleMania event, but it probably won't. They probably won't reveal those until frickin' unless they reveal the re-releases of the original Legend ones. But they probably won't reveal no more Demolition figures until we get to Comic-Con, which is in a few months. But they also signed Crush too, and you know, I'm hoping with the fact they signed Crush, aka Brian Adams, hopefully they sign Brian Clark so that we can get a freaking Chronic in figure form. We have not had Chronic in figure form, I don't think, at all. Toy Biz, when WCW went out of business before Toy Biz could put out the next WCW figures. I don't think Jax did any Chronic figures at all. And Mattel has not had Bryan Adams and Bryan Clark under a contract together. I don't think they've made any Bryan Adams or Bryan Clark figures. Now, Bryan Adams, you also can make him as Crush, whether it's Dakota Crush, whether it's Evil Crush, whether it's frickin' Gangster Crush, DOA Crush. Also, he was also a part of the NWO, Black and White, in '98 when he went to WCW. So, yeah, we have not had many Bryan Adams figures from any company that had official licenses to WWE. I think the last time we did was when Jax had them early with the Bone Crunchers. They had the Bryan Adams figure. That's the last time we got a Bryan Adams figure. But yeah, I hope they signed Bryan Clark, because I like to see a new Chronic set. Gotta fill out that WCW tag team, and I like the Chronic. I also would like to see Wrath. And I think if they sign frickin' Chris Candido, if Chris Candido's family or whoever's in control of his frickin' property signed with him, I like to see a Mortis of Wrath. Then I like to see Wrath when he was on his solo run, which they frickin' should have utilized him better when they started his singles run. He could have been their next Undertaker, and WCW would probably still be in business if they wouldn't have screwed up a lot of the pushes and all that stuff they've done. Like with guys like frickin' Wrath and all that. Now, yeah, Bryan Clark did get into Chronic with Bryan Adams, and I enjoyed that team. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Of course, Mark Henry. They announced they signed Mark Henry. I figured they would. One thing I'd like to see is a re-release of Mark Henry with the World's Strongest Man logos on the back in the red. The black singlet with the red outlining and all that stuff. I'd like to see that one be put out again from his World Heavyweight title run. I think he wore that the most when he was World Heavyweight Champion. They also re-signed Kamala and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And, I'd like to see a proper Hacksaw Jim Duggan come out. Like the other Hacksaw Jim Duggan figures they did. They came out with the one in the Legends line, which was hard to find. And that was the proper one. But then they made the Retro Fest one where he's got like a singlet top, the trunks, and the frickin' white boots. And then they made one where he had his face painted, which was a basic. In fact, I used it for one of my wrestling figure events a while back. I'd like to see a WCW run of Hacksaw Jim Duggan as well, because we never got that either. So a proper Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the blue trunks, with the frickin' white boots, with the 2x4, no singlet, no frickin' face paint, just a normal Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Let's see, who else? Yeah, they signed a lot of deals over this past weekend. One of them was Kamala. I think, we only got like 1 or 2 Kamala figures from Mattel, if that. Might only been 1. But, yeah. So, the one I'm most excited for, though, is Demolition. Now, if only they could get the license back to the frickin' Legion of Doom. I know Ringside just came out with those frickin' classic superstar figures with the Legion of Doom. But I hope we can get the Legion of Doom back under contract with WWE. And we can get Road Warrior figures with the NWA Tag Team titles. We can get their second WCW run when they went back to WCW, in 96 or whatever, and then they ended up going to WWF a year later. I also like to see them sign more ECW talents and bring in some more, like Shane Douglas. And then I go do Taz, because Taz is with AEW. Shane Douglas, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, and a lot of other ECW legends. Even frickin' somebody I hate. I'd like to see a Just Not Credible figure. Even though I hate Just Not Credible. Mike Awesome. And, you know, if you do get Shane Douglas under contract and you do bring him back in the fold, bring him out with the 96 to 98 ECW Championship. Or what? It might have been 95. Who knows? Because 94, 93, 94, it was that one belt. But it had different color emblems on them. One had freaking blue and that, and then the other had red. So I'd like to see those types of belts. And I'd like to see Raven. It would be nice to have a Raven to go with your Sandman figure. Also, I'd like to see them re-sign Test. I mean, Test, we haven't had a Test figure since the Titantron days, I think. Maybe Ruthless Aggression. Early Ruthless Aggression, I think so. But we ain't had a Test figure since then. And if you're going to put out Albert, you got to get Test. You already got Trish. You make TNA. Come on now. Because Albert's coming out in one of the upcoming Monday Night Wars lines. Who else? And I think, you know, try to get some more WCW. I know Arn Anderson's back with WWE. I think Tully Blanchard might be too. I don't know about frickin' what's his face? No, Magnum TA wasn't part. Barry Windham, I think they signed a deal with him too. I'd like to see some classic Barry Windham figures. Especially if we get the Four Horsemen, the original ones. Flair, Tully, Arn, and Ole, but I don't know if they'll get Ole. But, yeah. And then you had the Four Horsemen with Flair, Tully, Arn, Barry. I'd also like to see a Lex Luger, like 80s Lex Luger, that comes with the NWA US title. We also got to get a variant of the frickin' the NWA TV title, because there's a variant of that title in real life where it was on a red strap and then it was on a black strap. So we need to get that frickin' as well. And whoever you guys signed to do that, maybe Tully Blanchard, maybe someone else, but yeah. Get us some guys that we could get NWA figures of. So we can get some of the NWA belts. And if WWE's workaround is if Mattel's workaround is not to put the NWA logo on it, that's fine and dandy. Because it's not like freaking Billy Corgan and his NWA is making figures. Maybe the Powertown figures, but, you know, Powertown's freaking hadn't even delivered anything they've promised, and I think freaking Magnum TA runs Powertown, or works for them, but yeah. So, I don't know. I'd also like to see them re-sign Ahmed Johnson to a legend deal. I know there's a lot of heat there. A lot of people hate Ahmed Johnson in WWE. But I want to see it on. Now, that frickin', I don't know who made it. That independent wrestling company, I don't know if it was Zombie Sailor Toys or someone else, made it in the Elite style. Oh yeah, King Kong Bundy got re-signed too, so we're going to see more King Kong Bundys from Mattel. But, yeah, the Ahmed Johnson that is coming out from one of those independent wrestling figures that looks like an Elite one, that might be one I might try to pick up to go with the Elite WWE figures here. And, you know, it'd be nice if they did get Ahmed Johnson back under a deal. And he came with the gold-strapped Intercontinental title. Because after he beat Goldust, he did not switch the strap collar. He kept it gold. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if they were planning on putting the belt back on Goldust and taking it off Ahmed or what. But yeah, he kept using the freaking golden strap belt. So, we'll see. But yeah, Legion of Doom. I'd like to see, I think Ming and Barbarian's back under contract. So, I'd like to see Powers of Pain be made. If they can get things back with Marty Jannetty, maybe Marty Jannetty get made, have a new rocker set come out, something like that. But yeah, it'd be nice to see. But anyway, this video is almost a half hour long. And the first 10 minutes for me rant, well, First 10 minutes was me giving a tribute to Val Kilmer, and then, me ranting about these freaking idiot current players in the NBA. What the NBA is about these days is the people that's a superstar. Back in the day, it was about the team. And yeah, you could blame a lot of that on the era of Jordan and then the era of Kobe, but you know what? Still. It's worse now than it was back then. Because there were still people that were a team-oriented team that won championships, such as the Spurs and the Pistons and all that. But, yeah, for them to disrespect the old school freaking basketball players is just ridiculous. That's why I gave them an FU shout-out today. Especially LeBron James, with the fact he gets compared to Jordan so much, and I'm pretty sure every time somebody compares him to Jordan, his head inflates and he starts believing he is as good as Jordan when he's not. But anyway... So let me know what you guys think. Who do you want to see Mattel get a Legends deal with so you can get a figure of them? What are your thoughts on the Batman Returns wave? Do you think McFarlane will get a Batman 89 wave out before he loses the license in the middle of next year? And what are your thoughts on Val Kilmer's passing? Let me know in the comments. Please like this video, subscribe for more. Follow my Facebook fan page, Mr. Hornsby 83 Show. Follow my Facebook business page, Trigen Toys. I sell retro toys. I sell some current toys and all that stuff. And we will be at the flea market, Trader's World, this coming Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah. So that'll do it. Catch you guys later for the playthrough Friday, where I talk about the GTA Definitive Edition patch they put out. And I'll do a playthrough of I'll do a couple missions on 3, and then a couple missions on freaking Vice City, and a couple missions on San Andreas, which is the only one I haven't restarted a new file on yet, so yeah. Anyway, that'll do it. Catch you guys later. Peace out.